start some later. So because of all this, I want to extend one more session. So sessions will continue. Ruby sessions will continue till Friday. Okay. I will start with the program on how to declare variables, how to use these variables in our Ruby program. Then I will come back to this slide. Actually, yesterday we were discussing about how to declare constants. First, let me show you first how to declare variables. Then I will try to come back to constants again, so that you will understand the difference more. Okay. Each and every variable that you declare, if it is not going to be any class object, then at least by default it will be object class. There is an object class is there in Ruby. By default, all variables belong to that object class, unless you specify this variable is an instance of some other class. If you don't specify that, there will be an object class in Ruby. It will be the parent class for all variables. So here in this program, I have declared a variable 200, which should be an integer. So since it is an integer class variable, its parent class is an integer class. Right now it should be fixed num class. So here now again I am assigning floating point number to this a. Same. I think it is not possible in some fixed OOPS languages like C++, Java. I am not sure. But in string languages like Python and Ruby, we can dynamically assign different types of values. We can assign integers, we can assign floats, and we can even assign to the same variable. Ruby will dynamically change the type of the value of this variable. So what I am trying here is I have declared same variable, but I am assigning different values, and I am trying to see which type of the class it will belong each time while assigning integer and while assigning float. And also here and then I am trying to see which class it will belong each time. First, after assigning integer, I am trying to see it should belong to fixed num class that I am trying to print. And then I am assigning floating point number. Then I am trying to see again which class it will belong. Then so as I said, I can even assign a with some string value as variable a. I can even assign a string value as well. Here string 1 and string 2. These are two different ways how we can declare variables. Like you can declare using starting with some small letter, small case letter, or you can declare using some underscore. If you declare with underscore, you can start even with capital letter. It is same for even numbers as well. You can declare underscore a. It will be some different variable. So this is my program. Then I am trying to assign a with string 1 plus string 2, string 1 plus underscore string 2. I am trying to assign a string which is the sum of these two strings. So my a can contain any type of value. Even though at the start I declared with an integer value, my Ruby program can dynamically assign the type of this class. I will execute this program. Yeah, see, first I have assigned 200, and when I try to check which class it belongs, it is showing fixed num class. So because it is just a small integer, 200 is a small integer, it is showing it is a fixed num class, and the object ID that has been assigned dynamically in my laptop heat space is some 401. then I tried to assign a floating point number to this same a variable. So now I am assigning 200.2, which is a floating point number. This time when I tried to print which class this a belongs, it printed float. And the object ID is assigned is, even though the variable is same, because I am assigning new number, it will assign new object ID. So that is printed. Next, since I assign a with string 1 plus underscore string 2, which is Sri plus Lata, Sri Lata. So should print a value. When I try to put a, print a, it should print Sri Lata, and the class which this a belongs now is string. You are able to understand, right? Okay. So, and other program. Now I will come to global variables. These are the variables that I declare here are just some local variables. If I write another method which contains a variable a again, the a doesn't will have the value as specified, like I am writing a method. So now I have defined a method in this previous program, in which I am defining a local which is local to just this method. So this a doesn't get affected by the values that I assign outside of this method. This a is different and this a is different. This a belongs to only this method. So these are local variables which belong to that particular scope only. But in global variables concept, I am declaring a global variable. In Ruby, you can declare global variable starting with $sign. So $gvar, this is my global variable gvar. So its presence will be there in all programs, and even if you import this file to other programs, even that programs can access this global variable. So I am declaring a global variable, which I can say it is global variable because I am starting this variable name with $. So I am declaring a global variable. Now to see if you are define in this method 1, I am trying to print global variable plus some parameter. The value of global variable plus some parameter passed to this method, and I have declared another method in which I am trying to change the global variable value to some other value using the parameter passed to this method. Here I am just trying to print global variable plus some parameter in this method, but in this method too I am even trying to change the global variable value. So I have defined these two methods, and I have defined global variable, declared global variable with some value. Now now I am trying to change outside of the methods. I am trying to change the global variable value. Now I am calling the method 1 with this parameter. Like the parameter now I am passing this string which has the value and parameter for method 1. Then I am calling method again. Previously I called method 1. Now I am calling method 2 with another value, parameter for method 2. This is the value for this method 2 I am passing. Now each time I am trying to check what is the global variable value. This program is to make you understand global variable can be available even inside the methods, outside of the methods, and even in other programs which imports this file, global variables.rb file. If they can import this file, this global variable will be available even to those programs. Unlike the A here, this A is different than this A. This A is just local to this method. That is the difference I want you to understand. If I execute this program, so if I execute this program, these are declarations and method definitions. The program execution will start from here. So $global variable, I have defined method value, and then I am calling method 1. So it is trying to print this value. So gvar global variable plus param1, global variable value I have changed to this value, plus parameter is unparameter for method 1. So it should print both these values, sum of these both strings. That is what I am trying to print. So starting value includes global variable and parameter for method 1. That is what is printed here. You can stop me if you are not able to understand. Then I am calling method 2 and assigning the value that is returned from method 2 into a variable called value. Then I am trying to print that value. So method 2 is passed with the parameter, the string parameter for method 2. So this is the method 2, the parameter to method 2, plus after changing global variable in method 2, I am trying to assign a new string to global variable with value passed to the method 2 as this string, which is highlighted here, parameter for method 2. So parameter for method 2, comma, after changing global variable in method 2, that should be the value that has been to value, variable value. So when I try to print, it should print that one, parameter for method 2 after changing global variable in method 2. This is the value assigned to value, but even in method 2, global variable also changed to the same value. So even global variable also should have the same value. Now you should get some doubt. Here we are not returning any value. We are only changing value in gvar, but how can we assign value from method 2 to some other variable? There is no return statement, right? But how can we assign that value to some other variable? Method 2 doesn't have any return statement. But in Ruby, what happens is the last will return the same value as a method value. That is why the last return statement, that means the only one and only statement here is I am assigning some value to $gvar. So the same value what is manipulated here will be assigned when I call this method to some value. So even value and $gvar here will have the same value. So that is why I am able to assign value of method 2 even though there is no return statement in method 2. Calling method 2 this time with instead of some string value. I want you to understand there is some test method. I want you to understand that calling method 2 with different. Instead of passing a string value to method 2, I am calling method 2 with integer value. Let's see what happens. So parameter 2 value will be 3 now because I am passing method 3. So the parameter 2 value will be 3 and 3.2s means it will convert 3 to some string value. Instead of treating it as integer, the value here will be a string converted 3. So it should the value of gvar should be now as 3 comma after changing global variable in method 2. So when I try to print method 2 here, it should print 3 comma after changing global variable in method 2. Since I passed the meter for method 2, the gvar value was parameter for method 2 comma after changing all this. But this time I send parameter as 3. But what have 2s when we pass string value is, it is since already a string, this 2 underscore s is ignored. If I pass an integer value, then this 2 underscore s method let 3 into a string. So this is about how we declare strings, or how we use global variable values, or how we define normal integer or floating. Then there is one other type of variables in Ruby, like implicit variable or default Ruby predefined variables. We cannot call predefined variables, but these are called environment variables based on how we are executing your program, or how you are trying to define where your files are, all that based on that environment, program environment. These variables will have some values. For example, there is a variable called $load path in Ruby, based on the system in which where you are executing your Ruby program, because in each different system Ruby will be installed differently, right? We can install Ruby in your Windows directory or somewhere else. So based on where Ruby is installed, this $load path will have all the directories of where it will try to fetch libraries. Whenever you refer some library class, it will try to fetch that library class this load path directory. These load path directories will be like, this variable will have all the values when you are installing Ruby. Ruby will define the values for this $load path. This $: is same as this $load path. It will have same values. And $, it will print, like when I try to execute this slide 14.6 variables.rb, it will have some program ID while running, like process ID. Based, you know about process IDs, right? In our running environment, each and every program, each and every process has some ID in OS. OS will track the button all are working in it on top of OS. Will track all those processes using some IDs. So if this $$ will process ID for the Ruby program that is running. I will try to execute this one. And underscore dir underscore. There are two underscores are there. So this variable will have the current directory of the current program that I am running. So, and the underscore file underscore. This is another variable where you will have the name of the current file name which you are trying to run, and it is same underscore line. Even in programs, like you might need to manipulate the line number, you might need to get the line number based on which you might want to run some other some else conditions. Based on that, you might need current line number. Let me execute this one. See, the output is, first we got some all directories values, where whenever I refer some library class, Ruby will check all these directories to get the binaries of that library class. For example, there is some predefined file class is there, using which you are predefined numeric fixed num, all those we are talking, right? All those whenever we refer them, Ruby will come to these places and check whether that fixed num class is library is or missing. All these directories it will try to check. If it cannot find some predefined class here, then it will throw the error. So before throwing that error, it will come here and checks that. Then I am trying to print this same $:, so again it will print the same values. Load path and $: prints the same values. After it printed 2 times. Okay, next. So $:. So as I told you, $: is process ID of the current Ruby program that is running. So 6624 is a process ID of this when I executed this file. Next, directory of the puts __ dir__. This means I am trying to print the directory of the present program. So this is the directory in my laptop where this program is stored in sessions. If you can see, let me show you. This is where are you able to see? This is the path where this program, that is what is printed here. Session 1. In session 1 in this directory, this program is there. And when I put the file name of current program that I executed, in session 1, I have executed Ruby implicit variables.rb. These and puts current line, this underscore line, underscore, it will print the current line of the program. The 7 is the current line number of the while trying to print this line, so it printed 7 here. These values you might need, this environment and their values you might need in your programs or projects when you are developing your projects. So these are Ruby environment variables. Then I will come back to the constants. Yesterday we were discussing constants, right? So I declared a constant 1, 100, and when I try to print, it should print the value here. But when I try to assign a new value to this constant 1, I should get an error. How clear this is constant is because you can see it is starting with capital case letter. So for global variables, you will see it is starting with $. For normal variables, you will see either they will start with small case letter or they will start with underscore. So looking at the variables itself, you will be able to understand whether it is some local variable or it is global variable or it is some implicit variable. So that is the some one point where you will be able to easily understand or write program. In projects which are very large, this is very much important thing. While trying to understand the program written by some other developer who left the project, they need hints like this. Whether trying to understand some variable, since it is capital case letter, they define this to be a constant. Such type of things should be there. So this is about Ruby constants and variable. You are able to follow me, right? I will come back to the slide. So This is the slide for which when we try to execute those programs. Let us see what is there in the slide. Variable names indicate category of variables. Yeah, that is why whenever it starts with dollar, it is some global variable, or whenever it starts with small case letter or underscore, it is only declared and do not have a fixed type. Yeah, we have seen that, right? We like a can be assigned the variable a. I have assigned integers, floating point numbers, strings. I can even assign array, any type of variable, any type of value in the runtime. So an identifier begins with a lowercase letter or underscore, followed by letters or digits. Variables are all references to objects. As I told you, variables means as I told you here, this variable, when I assign a value 200, it instantly became an instance of fixnum class. So every time, no variable can be some solitary number. It cannot be left as a some literal. It is always instance of some other class. That is what they are telling here. Variables are all references to objects. So unless you specify it is an object of some class implicitly, it will be explicitly, it will be instance of some other class. Ruby will instantly assign it as an instance of some other class. An unassigned variable has a value nil. So we can initiate a variable, but when we don't assign a variable a value to this variable, it will have a nil value. Nil means it is null in other classes, other programming languages. Ruby calls it as nil. Nil is a Ruby keyword and it is a null value. Named constants are named like variables but have names that begin with a capital letter. So we need to declare constants with capital case letter. There are some implicit variables such as $_. Yeah, implicit variables means Ruby environment variables. As I told you, underscore file, underscore or dollar, colon, all these are actually, there are still many more environment variables. I have shown you only 5 examples. Just check them out on the internet. There are many more implicit variables. Assignment statements in Ruby are same as other programming languages. So just like if you want to assign some value to some variable, you will just write a variable equal to some value. It is almost same in all other languages. Yeah, next I have come to next slide. Numeric operators. Numeric operators, in this slide, what they are telling about is how we use numbers and how we manipulate the numbers using different operators available. Like if you want to add 2 numbers, you will use plus operator, a plus b. You will assign b to some z, so b equal to a plus b. Here you are using plus operator. Or if you want the subtracted value, then you will use minus. That is what they are talking about. These are also almost same as other programming languages. Star means when you want to multiply 2 numbers. Slash means when you want to divide 2 numbers. Percentage, it is modulus operator. And star means when you want to exponent 2 numbers, like 2. If you want to write 2 cube 3, 2 power 3, then you will use 2 star 3. There is no operators like plus and this is hyphen, it is minus, it is hyphen and underscore. These operators are not there in Ruby, and all these along with these operators, if you want to do some trigonometric operations like cos, sine, log, then square root, all these operations if you want to do, then you need to import the math module which has name math. So you need to import this module, then you will have all these operations. And also Ruby supplies an IRB console, like instead of writing programs then executing them, if your program is very simple like some statements. Let me share my desktop again. Are you able to see this desktop? Things are correct, and even include them, they are one by one. So for all mathematical operations like if you want to see 2 of, let us say 25, 5. So you can use IRB console for all these mathematical operations. Then you can, for example, first you want to understand which type of operation you want to use in your program, then you can come back to IRB console. You can try different operations, and let us say at the end you have understood you should use square root to get the proper value for in your program. Then so all these experiments you can do in IRB, so then you can use them in your programs, or you can directly use IRB console. I am executing a small program where I am trying to assign a plus b value to c. So first I am declaring a value as 2 and b value as 3 as 5. So these type of small programs where you have time and you just want to experiment, then you can use IRB console instead of writing programs in even if your program is small, you don't want to install Ruby, you don't want to write large programs, then execute them. Instead, you can directly come to IRB. Also, one other thing I want to tell you is all Ruby programs you can directly, if Ruby is installed in your Windows system or in any other Linux server, you can directly use Ruby and the program name. For example, if I want to execute some program, some variables that constants, let us say I want to execute this constant data. So I can directly execute this program from my console. Use Ruby command, Ruby, and the file absolute path wrong, right? So error is printed even in here. So we can execute programs like this: Ruby space Ruby program file name. Then it will execute the file. If you want to enter into a the command is IRB. So you can instantly execute your small program. Even the program I have done here, I can execute this here. So it is printing 100. Now if I try to execute third statement, I try to execute assign to constant, then it should give initialize constant. Previous definition of constant was here. So that is the way you can execute programs in IRB console. Actually, that is what is there in this slide. There are different numeric characters which you can use, plus, minus, percentage, per slash, and exponentiation, and you can use smart for doing some different mathematical operations. A simple use we can do using IRBs. We can use IRB as some calculator. Go to next slide. If you have doubts, please stop me. Next. String method. For do on strings, like if you want to concatenate two strings, or if you want to change some first letter to capital letter, you have defined some string, but you want that value to first value to change to capital letter, like that. All those operations we can do on strings. How to do and what are UB predefined functions for doing all those functions we can check using this program. Now I have defined two variables, variable 1 Lata and variable 2 Sri. Now if I want to concatenate these two strings into one string, I can use either this less than, oh sorry, I'm not sharing. Okay, you are able to see the graph, right? Here I have declared two variables, variable 1 and variable 2. Now if I want to concatenate these two strings into one string, so that the and the value of the variable on the right side to this left, and the string value is left hand side variable. So plus equal to operator does the same. Put print the variable 2 value. It should have value as Srilata. You can use any any of the numbers. So I am commenting on this line. So I am trying to append the variable one value Lata to variable Srilata using this less than operator. Next, this pattern on this string. So when I try to print this value, it should print capital HELLO, hello. And because capitalized method will change first value to value, and all the remaining letters it will change to small letters. So when I try to print hello dot capitalize capital all capitals hello. So hello dot capitalize, it should print this one small capital H. So there is another string method is there, chop. It will remove the last letter and return the remaining string. So, but if last letter is some escape character with slash, then it will remove even the slash, and both of them doesn't have any special meaning, then it will return string slash, not string. Since I am initializing this on double quotes, it will slash and has special meaning and enters slash as one literal one character. So it will remove that one slash and entirely, then it will return string. And if we initialize chop method on empty string, then it will get an empty string. For example, on X, if I initialize chop 2 times, the first time it will return empty string, and if I again initialize chop on this empty string, it will return an empty string. So if you check that it is empty, it will return true. Here it should be true. Yeah, one thing I want you to understand is there are many more other string methods. I cannot explain all of them with the time constraints, but if you search for Ruby string methods, you will get the list of different capitalized chop, chomp. There are many other methods and in Ruby for manipulating strings, but there are 2 different. All these methods can be characterized in 2 ways. One is when I initialize capitalize on some string, I am initializing capitalize, so it should return capital TEST, but it will return new string, and if we assign the value to some other variable, that other variable will has the value. String 1 will not change. If you want to change string 1 itself, then you need to use capitalize exclamatory mark. This is the method which will change the source string itself. Returning new string. Let me execute this program. First, to variable to 3. So the ending string will have variable 2 as Srilata. Next, I try to print these values. Hello, capitalize will print hello. Only first letter H as capital, and hello all capital. When initialize capitalize, will have only first letter H, and all the remaining E L. So slash N. When initialize this double quoted string, when initialized with char, will give string. Slash n is considered as one single character. Let us try this on single character, whether entire slash draft or not. I'm not sure. When I initialize start, this is returning string slash, but string slash in double quoted string, the char is returning string instead of string slash, it is returning string. That is the difference. Okay, next I am checking this string 1 equal to test, string 2 equal to string 1 dot capitalize. When I try to print string 1 to string 1 remain test, even though I have initialized capitalize on string 1. When I print string 3, string 3 changed. So there are two different methods. One are normal string methods, others will have exclamatory at the end of them. Capitalize exclamatory, chop exclamatory, or chomp exclamatory. All these methods, exclamatory methods, change the source string itself instead of returning some new string which needs to be assigned to some other target string. If you want to change the source string itself, you will use exclamatory. So that is what is there here. Concatenation is indicated by plus. You can add two methods using the plus operator, and less than appends string at the end of another string. You can use plus equal to also for the same functionality. So that is using less than operator. Then we have appended two strings into one string. And capitalized charm uppercase. It will return new strings in normal capitalized chop. But in mutated versions, capitalized exclamatory, chop exclamatory, all these methods will change the string itself. Screen output. We are already using these functions in all our other programs, so I will quickly change this slide. So one thing yesterday I was telling about screen operator P. You can use puts or you can use just P. Both are almost same, but there is slight difference. That is the further study here. Also in previous slide, there is some Srilata. This string is there, and for all occurrences of three occurrences of three, I want to substitute something. Instead of Sri, I want to substitute Charu. Charulata. I want to print like that. How can I substitute such values like that in Ruby string? I want you to study that. Next, in screen output, study puts displays your values, but puts will convert all of only string. Puts will display only string. So anything that we any values that you want, but it is also, but when write two prints in the same one by one, it will print all of them in the same line. It is like println and print in Java system. That print system that print in Java. So just print. It will print only all of them side by side. It's printing in different lines, even though we have used multiple print statements. All the output will be in one line, but puts, every time we call puts, it will display the value passed in different lines. But there is another operator P, just P, which is more useful while debugging the next keyboard input. There is program actually, so I will go to the program, then I will come back to the slide. But it is 10:30. If you have doubts, I will wait 1 minute. If you have doubts, I will stop. Otherwise, I will also try to cover this slide. Okay, I am not getting any questions, so I will go to this slide program. this how we can read from command line inputs water some inputs from you, only then you can work on those inputs and try to give some output. So some programs will be there like, so how you read inputs from command line. Program which takes values for different bits, but all the A, X, B, C, all these four variables values we need to enter from command line. So, and also we can ask for our name so that we can print name while trying to the result. So let me enter the values. It can change the values to integers using two underscore I method. This two underscore I can convert other values into integers. So it will get the value from command line, then it can